The Buffalo Bills have been one of the best teams in the NFL for a few years now. They have finished with one of the better records in the league, and their team looks incredibly dangerous. Having an explosive offense and one of the most dominant defenses in the league will do a lot of favors for you. However, while the Bills have found ways to make it to the playoffs, they also found ways to get eliminated. And it seems as if these eliminations have been quite unlucky, and it has definitely been on Bills fans' minds. So let me ask the question, are the Buffalo Bills on a curse? Well, in today's video, we will take a closer look at every time they've made the playoffs recently, and then determine whether or not it could do with some playoff curse. Let's get into it. Let's start off in 2019. That was the first season where the Bills made the playoffs with their star quarterback, Josh Allen. Bills fans were already hyped up for the season before it even started. Seeing the Bills draft a quarterback with such a high potential in the league is insane. And now that he had developed after one season, he was going to do some special things, which he did. In 2019, the Bills finished the season going 10-6. That was the first season they finished with 10 or more wins since 1999, so it's been quite a while. The team looked pretty good as Josh Allen threw for 3,000 yards and 20 touchdowns. Defensively, the Bills were looking scary to say the least. They were ranked as the second best defense in the NFL, right behind the victorious New England Patriots. People went as far as to say that this was one of the best Bills defenses in franchise history. Taking a closer look at it, they had guys like Tremaine Edmonds, Tre'Davious White, and Jordan Poyer, just to name a few. The defense was probably the main reason why the Bills were winning games. As for their offense, it was pretty decent. For running back, they had the rookie Devin Singletary. Dawson Knox was also a rookie who was on the team, and both players had above average seasons. As for wide receivers, it was alright. Cole Beasley, Josh Brown, and Isaiah McKenzie wasn't a bad trio. However, the offensive line was the problem. PFF ranked their offensive line as 21st in the NFL. Due to a poor O-line, Josh Allen got sacked 38 times that season. That is still a career high for him till this day. The O-line not only hurt the Bills during the regular season, but also the playoffs. In the wild card, the Bills were playing the Houston Texans. While they did win one more game than Buffalo, they still had a chance. The game was going well as both sides fought hard. Buffalo stayed in it well. However, it was at the end of the fourth quarter where the O-line was discombobulated. Josh Allen would get sacked twice in a row, causing the Bills to lose the most important possession of the game. Then the game would go into overtime, and the Bills weren't able to hold on. And choking in overtime allowed the Bills to be eliminated from the playoffs. Now granted, the Bills had a chance to win this game, but they still needed to be fully developed, and still had issues. The O-line was partially set that season, and Josh Allen was still developing. It was 2020 where it would start to get serious out in Buffalo. During the offseason, the Bills made a few moves. They picked up guys like Vernon Butler, Tywan Jones, and Darrell Williams. The most significant move made that offseason, though, was bringing in one of the best wide receivers in football, Stefon Diggs. With a developed Josh Allen, these two would be a duo. 2020 would be up there for the Bills' best season in franchise history. They finished the season going 13-3. Their offensive line got a lot better. Signing Darrell Williams could have very well been the answer to fixing the O-line, as his PFF grade came in at 79.4. As for the defense, it flipped with the O-line. Their defense was slightly worse in 2020 as it was ranked as the 16th best defense in the NFL. Josh Allen would have his first Pro Bowl season as he threw for over 4,000 yards with a whopping 37 touchdowns and just 10 interceptions. Stefon Diggs would also have a career season as he had over 1,500 receiving yards with 127 receptions and 8 touchdowns. His PFF grade was 89.4. If this Bills team was so great, why didn't they win a Super Bowl? Well, let's take a look at their playoff run. In the wild card, the Bills were playing the Indianapolis Colts. While it was a close game, the Bills came out on top winning 27-24. Next came the divisional round. The Bills would play the Baltimore Ravens, and the Bills got out of this one with an easy dub. They would beat the Ravens 17-3. Then came the big one, the game that is right before the Super Bowl. They were playing against the Kansas City Chiefs. The game started off strong as after the first quarter, the Bills were up 9-0. But in the second quarter, it was horrendous. The Chiefs scored 21 points in the second quarter, while the Bills scored just 3. They'd score another 3 in the third, then 9 in the fourth. And all of that scoring wasn't enough to beat Patty Mahomes. The Chiefs would win 38-24. Patrick Mahomes had an incredible game as he went 29 for 38 from the field and threw for 325 yards and 3 touchdowns. That gave him a QBR of 94. A QBR functions on a scale of 0 to 100. So basically, Mahomes nearly had a perfect game. Having Mahomes plus the best wide receiver and tight end in football just wasn't fair for the Bills. So sadly, they got eliminated once more. This game was close, but I think we all knew who the better team was. But next season is where the title of this video starts to make some sense. In 2021, the Bills had a slightly worse regular season, but still played very well. The Bills went 11-6 during the season. They had some strengths, but quite a few weaknesses. It was kind of like 2019. The Bills' defense was incredible as it was ranked as the best defense in the NFL, but the O-line was an issue. Their best player in the O-line that season was Dion Dawkins, whose PFF grade came in at 77.5. As for the rest of the O-line, it was weak. Allen would get sacked less this season than he was in 2019 as he was sacked 26 times. Either way, it was a problem. Other parts of the offensive line like the wide receiver, running back, and tight end did their jobs. Stephon Diggs played like Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley played well despite playing less, and Dawson Knox played better. But enough about the season. Let's get to the playoffs. The Bills started off by playing the New England Patriots. Without Tom Brady, this team didn't look as intimidating. The Bills destroyed the Pats 47-17. As for the divisional round, they were playing their biggest enemy, the Chiefs. You know very well the Bills wanted revenge after last season's elimination. It was close throughout the entirety of the game. At the end of the fourth, it was tied. Then came overtime, where the infamous coin toss comes to play. For those who don't know, in overtime, a coin toss is used to determine which team will start with the ball, and the Bills lost the coin toss, and because of that, they would go on to lose the game. NFL fans have not let the Bills go for this one, as they've been rubbing it into their faces. It was so bad that Josh Allen tweeted pain after the game, and that tweet blew up. This was an unlucky ending for the Bills. The game could have had a different outcome if the Bills won the coin toss, but it didn't, and it will go down as one of the biggest what-ifs for Bills fans. We now come to this season. The Bills seem to be back in their old form as they finished the season going 13-3. As usual, the Bills' defense looked excellent, as it ended this season being ranked as the second best defense in the NFL, right behind the San Francisco 49ers. This defense allowed just 286 points, which is insane. As for the O-line, it wasn't looking too good. They had Roger Saffold as their left guard, and he played horrible. PFF's grade for him was 43.7, but it's not only him. Spencer Brown was another guy who was struggling like crazy. Now granted, he is young at the age of 24, but I mean come on, this can't continue happening. Either he progresses or find a replacement. But the O-line issue didn't seem to affect the Bills' record. Besides the O-line, it was practically the same players. Stephon Diggs was insane, Devin Singletary played well, and Dawson Knox played above average. As for the playoffs, the Bills were starting to grow tired of constant elimination. It was about time these guys started giving Bills Mafia what they wanted and needed. The Bills started off by playing the Miami Dolphins. It was a very close game, but the Bills were just able to squeeze in a victory, 34-31. Next came the divisional round, where they were playing against the Cincinnati Bengals. It was a battle of the duos, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase versus Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. And the Bills sort of got blown out. Their defense just couldn't hang on, and they weren't producing offensively. The final score was 27-10. This is now the fourth consecutive season where the Bills have been eliminated. So now let's answer the question, are the Buffalo Bills cursed? After every season, they find themselves going out the same way. Well, in my opinion, I wouldn't necessarily call it a curse. I would say it has just been an ongoing feud between the Bills and winning in the playoffs. They just can't seem to cooperate. That coin toss was unlucky and could have changed the game's outcome. But as for the rest of the eliminations, they seem to have been for a good reason. This season was the offense failing to produce against Cincy, 2020 was simply the fact that Chiefs were the better team, and 2019 was the fact that they collapsed against Houston late in the game. So to conclude this video, I wouldn't say the Buffalo Bills are cursed. They have been unlucky, and they must make their final roster changes before they can really make that Super Bowl push. We will see what the future holds. And that is going to be it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you're new to the channel, please consider to leave a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. And as always, I will see you all in the next video. I'm out.